Hey Brian,
Hey, Keely.
how are you?
I'm doing really well. It's wonderful to be with you.
Yes,
Something,
always.
something we've talked about for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I told you, I've been a fan of your videos. And um, I really appreciate the authentic way, really authentic, raw, vulnerable way in which you share. And you share your insights and what you're discovering, what's opening inside you
Mm.
with the world. And grateful to be here with you.
Thank you. You're so sweet. Yeah, I love all the things that you do, and your videos are similar, so that's probably why uh, we feel that way. So,
hmm Yeah, so we're sharing things that we discover or learn or are benefiting from on our journey that may be beneficial to other people
mm-hmm.
as
Yes.
well.
I think like
Yeah.
mine ends up being like a diary on my page.
Yeah, right.
I don't
Right.
like. I think some people think that I like I'm all knowing, or I think I am, and it's just like no, like I'm just sharing the things as I'm learning it.
As they're arising. Well,
So
that's what's so beautiful is it's just like turn on the camera and just share whatever's arising in the moment, and that takes real, like I said, vulnerability, and it's raw and authentic, and you don't know quite what's going to happen when
mm-mm,
as it comes through and it's shared. And I think I always feel that like what's most important, regardless of what the words are or what the particular message is being authentic. Is that invitation to be authentic and to be real and to be genuine and to live your truth. So if there's someone in a video and they turn on the camera and they have the courage to be authentic and raw and genuine and they're sharing their truths, then it's like, oh, well, maybe I can be. It invites you just like energetically, just vibrationally, to be that
mm,
way as well. And like whatever I think that so much of what we're sharing with each other is on a vibrational level, right? Even beyond what the particular words are, the particular ideas or concepts. So that alone, I think, is really healing and transformative for people.
mm-hmm. Yes, it's a way that we can relate. Kind of like the mirroring. We can relate to the realness or the vulnerability in another
hmm
person, because we know that we have that, in ourselves, which is one of the reasons that, I don't re-record my videos. I don't know if you saw the one where I was like, adjusting my boobs at the beginning. I was just like pulling up my tank top and everybody was laughing. I was like, I was alive. So I just went with it. And I don't re-record them and I don't plan out what I'm going to say. It's just, when I start talking about something that I'm passionate about, or that, I'm really feeling, or, has really moved me, it just flows. I can feel my connection to
Yeah.
God or spirit. And sometimes I'm like, what, where, I can feel it. And I'm like, where is this coming from? And, which is, that flow state, I guess.
The flow state, right? So it's like like I totally agree. It's like, and I think that's what feels most alive is when there's this unscripted sense of just being present, tuning into yourself, and the way I say is like being an open, clear channel for just spirit to move through you, in
Mm-hmm.
the moment. And the greatest, most magical, miraculous things, words, insights, inspirations, openings, epiphanies happen when we're just present and we're available for spirit to move through us moment by
Mm.
moment.
Yes. And I don't think that it can happen any other way except for being
hmm
in a moment. Like it's when we can be that channel when our thoughts are out. It's all about being, in your heart, in
hmm
that space, in the moment, which is so pure and beautiful.
Yeah, it's totally, and that energy, that vibration is transmitted, and it's like it can be felt. And I think that that's what's most, it's almost like the highest way of living. It's
Mm,
almost like that's what every teaching, every great awakened being is pointing at is this space of, and it's called so many different things, you know, living in alignment, or right,
Peak,
all these different
or the art
things,
of allowing, you
the
know.
art of allowing, all these different phrases to just like really be here now, and really like just everything you have, you're just, you know, you're just open, and you're just connected, right? And you're just in this creative intelligence is just allowed to move through us when the mind quiets down, when the sense of like wanting to control, the ego wants to control how it's going to be, how it's going to go, you know, what are people going to think? What are they going to say? What if you just let all that go and just, you know, just
Right.
be wide open in
When we
here.
can alchemize the mind, body, and soul out of, like, you know, with creator.
Creative
And
energy.
yes, and we move out of that duality into that magical, that space of what's possible, of what we truly are, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest of it is like this learned illusion of,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's just all the things that we've learned, and that's
Yeah.
all fine. That's all like
Yeah.
this puppet show that we've just learned, like, you know, unconsciously, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and when we are in that flow state, and that's when we really are like back to authentic
Mm-hmm.
self, our true self, our true
Mm-hmm.
essence.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So do you notice, one of the big things people come up against is a sense of like, well, you know, what are people going to think about me? And, you know, someone, especially if they're first coming out of like a public, you know, public videos and public things, or what if someone says something critical about me, or if they don't like me, you know, are these things that you kind of move through on
Oh
your
yeah.
journey?
Well, for me, when I started doing things to love myself,
Mm-hmm.
when I started practicing self-love, which was, you know, exercising, meditating, spending time outside, just on and on and on, as many, like, just when I started adding different modalities into my life to change that act alone of doing it, before I even felt the benefit, what I felt the self-love in that moment for myself. And the more that I started doing these things, the more I started loving myself more and more than my, you know, like, well, you can ask most people, if you ask them that know me my whole life, I pretty much haven't cared a lot about what people think. But there are times that I definitely, you know, in certain situations, and, you know, probably, you know, attached to childhood stuff, seeking approval from certain people. But, you know, now in the place that I am, where I feel so much self-love, you know, I don't have that feeling, because I mean, really, like we were just saying, it comes back to being authentic. You know, people can
Mm-hmm.
relate to that. People can't relate to perfect.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Right. Right.
so if I got it all down, and it's all perfect, and I'm, you know,
Mm-hmm.
wearing the perfect clothes, and I look like this model, and I've got the perfect background and the professional video, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
mess anything up, or I don't have to like look up to think about what I'm saying, no one's going to relate to me, because it's so inauthentic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's a great point. That's a great point, is like that authenticity and that vulnerability creates something that's relatable, people
mhm.
can relate to. And it feels like you're really, there's this pure sense of really wanting to help people and support people. And
Mm.
that's your motivation to kind of put yourself out there and share
Yes.
yourself with people.
Yes. Service is what it's all about. You know, when I had my spiritual awakening and I woke up, it was all about feeling like all of a sudden it went from victim mode to empowered. I
Mm-hmm.
saw all these ways that I can empower myself. So, you know, everything started shifting, you know, for me. So I don't know. I'm just like loving life right now. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it goes up and down, and you know, there's always moments of being able to shift and expand more and do things, but you know.
it really feels like being of service, you know, this is just a term, but this being of service, or really being in a state of being available to love, is really the highest form of fulfillment. You know, and I think we both want for everyone to feel that and to experience that. And there's just nothing else like it. It's like, then it finally clicks, like, oh, this is why I'm alive. This is what it's all about. Like, you're like plugged in like a socket, you know, that has like endless energy, because now like what you're giving is not about yourself anymore. It's not like this little ego. It's about like just sharing it for the benefit of others. And it feels like when you're in that kind of like flow of just you're sharing for the benefit of others, then the universe is giving you more and more and more. It's like, oh, you got it now. You're giving to others. You're a benefit to others, you know?
And here's another perfect example of being authentic. It's like, I totally got sidetracked on what I was saying. Like, I just went off on a branch, and now you brought it back to the tree trunk, which was service. So I totally got off track of what I was saying about the service. But when I started doing all this stuff, it was about me empowering me loving me. How could I improve me?
Yeah.
And at some point, like, especially when I started working with plant medicines, like my whole everything changed for me. And it went about what I could do to improve me, to what can I do to improve the world? What can I do to help others instead of what can I do to help me? And it totally shifted when I saw this connection with everything.
Yeah.
Your connection to everything, you know, how can you not love everyone? How can you not care about everyone just the way you do yourself? I mean, we're one, like we're energetically, vibrationally connected. So it's like, how can I hurt someone that I love that would be hurting me, you know? So
yeah, that's the core spiritual realization that every teaching at the heart of it is pointing to, is that, and that's it. It's just recognizing that, you know, Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself, right? Not as some kind of like, people have like, oh, a commandment, I have to try to do it, and if I do it, I'll get rewarded, and you know, when I die. But that's not really the deeper realization. Is, why do you love your neighbor as yourself? Because you recognize and realize in this awakening that your neighbor is yourself. It's you. You know, you're looking back, you're seeing yourself looking back at you.
Right.
When you have that record,
love others.
Then it's just a natural organic response of like, of course I'm gonna love this other reflection of myself. You know? And to see that in everything, to see that in a person, in a tree, in a cloud, in the grass. You know?
Yes.
This is the great mystical spiritual awakening, and this changes everything.
Yes. It's beautiful. Like right now, like that's coming up for me, like emotionally, like I can feel myself like wanting to cry because I relate to that so much. And I do this a lot, like things come up for me, these feelings come up, and I just let it go because it feels so good, and to be moved so much now, because I'm just like so open, you know, my heart is open. And that again is, you know, part of being, you know, in flow, the flow state of, you know, completely open. And when things align for you is when you are in that state and doing all the things that we do, because I believe, just like you stated, that that's why we're here.
Yeah, it's like this other level of like being alive that kind of like kicks in, you know, and which is so beautiful. And there's nothing left but just to share that with others. And the crying, the tears are beautiful. It's like a form of like release. And it feels like in the human condition, we've built up so much, you know, just so many things that can be released, right? And let go.
So much.
and it's not, you know, and it's, as you awaken to this unified consciousness, it's not necessarily even just your personal life. I mean, there's things that are in the conditioning for thousands of years, you know, and we're coming up against those and be able to release those and move those. We're doing that not just for ourselves, but for everyone. It's so beautiful.
That's the goal, you know, unity, consciousness, peace, and love. And what are your feelings about that? If you want to, you know, talk to me about that. You know, a lot of people that, you know, we're connected with, we have friends that we're connected with for a long time, that on friends on Facebook that, you know, say we've gone to high school with, or, you know, we've known since our 20s, and you know, like, you know, people that don't know, they're like, you know, posting all this political stuff and,
Right.
you know, in this fear place, and, you know, people that may be watching this that can't, you know, relate, like, what does that mean? Like unity consciousness, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing that one of my main messages right now is it is a really intense time right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing for me is compassion. You know, I do feel compassion. A lot of people are hurting right now. A lot of people are confused. A lot of people are disoriented. A lot of people are scared. A lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are stressed, worried, anxiety. So I think it's important to like acknowledge that, and for me to be like, you know, to just kind of, yeah, to speak to that and to acknowledge it and to be present in a space of compassion for that. And it's interesting because actually that's a gateway to unity consciousness, is to like realize that like what you're feeling, like I'm that too, you know, you're afraid, I'm afraid, you know, you're scared, I'm scared, you're just all these things, instead of like, no, that's not me, you know, you're a lower frequency, you're lower vibration. That's separation. Right? It's like, I understand, I can feel what you're feeling. I understand what you're feeling, and I don't need to be attached or identified with it or wallow in it.
Right.
You know, that's the difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
As empaths, we feel it. We feel we feel the collective.
Yeah.
I mean, have you felt that lately too?
Well, it's good. You know, it's interesting. It's a good question because this woman wrote me, and I was told I respond by video. So maybe this is actually the video I respond to it. And she was saying like, how do I block people? And I was like, what do you mean? People that are like low vibration, low energy, like how do I block them, you know? And like, I totally understand the question, but to me, that's not really the way it works. It's more like the flow. Like, you know, you feel somebody coming from a certain space, just let it, it's actually the opposite. Just let it move through, you know, acknowledge it, feel it, embrace it. It's part of me, it's part of you, and let it go, let it pass. You know, but it's when it's like the law of attraction teachings, what you resist persists and grows stronger.
Yeah.
So when there's something you don't like and you're trying to block it and fight it and resist it, you're actually amplifying it. Yeah, you're amplifying it. You're making it even stronger inside yourself.
Right.
And then you're like, well, it's not working. Well, no, it's not working because it's actually doing the opposite of what you wanted to do.
That's what you're focused on.
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
We can choose, we feel it, but then we can choose to do something else and focus on something else.
Exactly. So that's one of my biggest realizations with the mind is focus on what you want, not on what you don't want. What do you want to create? And put your attention there.
Yeah, because it's always working, the law of attraction. Yeah. Whether you're doing it or not. So that's why it's so important to be aware of what we're thinking and focus on. So it's like, this is, I know all this stuff is going on. I feel like for me, I see like a big picture of what's happening. Like my vision is like, I see so many people coming together, you know, the collective, like the women coming together and doing that march, you know, it was like, what? This is historical. This is amazing. This has never happened at this like level, this many men. And they came together because of what he was doing. And then all the pipeline stuff, you know, people are coming together, all different races, you know, unity in that, standing in solidarity.
Right.
So I see what's happening. I see it's creating something beautiful. At the same time, like a lot of it's like, what?
Well, here's the thing. I agree with you. I think that it's like saying that people are coming together and there's a sense of like community forming in that, and people are having conversations and they're connecting. And then the next level is, why are they coming together? They're coming together because they're against something. They're against someone. They're against whatever they're against, right? So what I want to know to all these people is, what are you for? What do you want to create? Because until you can tell me that, until you can tell the world that, nothing's really going to happen. You're actually amplifying that which you're against. Yeah. So tell us what you want to create. Tell us what you're for. Articulate it clearly, and of course, live it. Yeah. You know, be the change you want to see. So I feel confident that that's happening. There's a process people are moving through, but that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about creating something different, you know, and being a part of that, and creating, because it's so much about being in the creative energy. You know, I use this term, being a life artist. So it's like you paint, right? You paint beautiful canvases. So you can express your creativity through painting or through music or through dance or through photography or whatever it is. But what about your life, life itself being a work of art and creating art, making our life itself art, all of us, collectively. And we have that potential as human beings. And that's what's exciting, to really tune into what do we want to create together, the opportunity is here now for change.
It's beautiful. Yes. That reminds me of so many things about the Four Agreements, so many things that we're talking about, like that book comes up for me. It made such a huge impact. It really changed my life. And so, I just love that, because he talks about all the things that we've learned, or just those things that just were taught to us generation by generation by generation, on even down to what something's called, like an apple being an apple is only an apple because we agreed to call it an apple, but really it's just that.
It's just that
thing, right? And so when you that book really cleaned the slate for me, like mentally, about what I believed my life was. I realized that my story about my past is only mine. It's totally different than what my parents and my sister experienced, and in this dream that is totally not even really what we think it is, but it just, now I got a clean canvas. And he talks about creating, painting, being an artist in your life, because when you are empowered with all these things that you and I are learning, and so many others on the planet, then you become a creator. You're not just flowing along with life. Life isn't happening to you. You're not a victim of, you're a creator of. So
beautiful. Yeah, it's like everything is you realize everything is a story. Like you realize the story as a story. And it's all story. It's all dream, and then this like gigantic question of like, well, who's creating the story? Who's creating the dream? And on this deepest level, it's like, oh my God, OMG, we are. We are. You could say God is, but you recognize as you go deeper, God and myself are one. We are one with God.
That's right.
So we, as unified with Source, are creating the story, the dream.
Yes.
And then we realize, well, then we can create whatever dream we want.
Right. Because we are co-creating.
Yeah.
Yeah. The quantum field. It's just amazing. I love learning so much. And the more that I learn, that's where I find all the power. Shows me what's possible. Like it's always stretching. Like
anything is possible.
Yes.
And it's so beautiful to live from this place. And we talked about in the past, like it's so beautiful to connect with others that have awakened to this space of infinite possibility. And the more that we come together, that's what's going to be really exciting. Like what do we want to create together? Let's create a video and talk to each other. What do we want to create next? Right?
Exactly. Have you noticed too? Have you noticed that like your web of people that you're connected with is getting bigger, but at the same time it's like closing in?
Yeah, and it's getting better.
Right. Yes, as you up level, it's like the you start connecting to better and better people.
Yeah.
Not better. Let me rephrase that. Just at a different frequency.
Well, it's like we're on this journey together, it's like an evolution of consciousness. And so we're like, that's the way I think of it. It's like we're walking this journey together, and the journey gets better, and you look around and like, oh yeah, we're here together. We're moving together,
Yeah, it's like that meme that says we're all just walking each other home.
We're holding hands, we're going, we're walking, and it's just the journey's getting more and more beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And there can be some challenges. There can be you might trip over a few rocks, but like that's all part of it. That's all part of like learning, how to walk that path. Path.
Because even the bad stuff, I say that it's either a lesson or a blessing. So even in the bad, or what some would consider the bad,
what looks to be bad, labeled
as bad. Like for me, it's not bad anymore. It's like oh, here's another lesson, because even when I get through it, and I always get through it, like my success rate is 100%. So,
Right.
right. So when I get through the other side, it's not, it becomes a lesson, and then the lesson becomes a blessing.
Yeah.
So it always, when you look for it, even when something terrible has happened, something's hurting.
Well, I think the key is to look for the lesson, because when people don't look for the lesson, they don't look for the opportunity, then it just seems like, oh, why this happened to me? This is horrible. This is terrible.
Victim.
Yeah, but then to open that, just to be able to ask yourself that question, like when you're in that space, it's like, what's the opportunity here? What's the lesson for me to learn? And then when you discover that, then you can actually be grateful for that challenge that arose in your life. And I think having that perspective of things aren't, life isn't happening to hurt you or to cause you suffering. It's actually here. Things are happening
for you.
Yeah, for you to evolve in your consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Because that's what we're here for, to, evolve in this lifetime, so we can clean up some stuff, like, how much can we evolve? Like, so we can clean up karmas and all this stuff so that we don't have to repeat this stuff again, in the next life, when we've got so much information and so many modalities and so many great tools available to us, even, just the internet alone, where, anything is available to us.
Right.
Yeah. I told someone the other day, I was like, if you're ignorant today in this age of, information, it's by choice, because everything, you can learn anything you want. But you just got to find the curiosity, inside to go searching for truth, your truth.
Yeah. Yeah. And to open up to this space to like recognize and realize that this, like we're saying, this world is a dream, which has been taught through the ages, and then it's like, it's play. That's my vision that I hold, is like human beings want to realize that this is a place to play together.
Play in your power.
Yeah. And when you realize this, like, this illusionary nature of the world of form, this dreamlike quality to it, which I think, like some of the things that you're doing with the different hallucinogenics and things that open up the people to realize that potentiality. And then it's like, okay, so everything is God, everything is the one infinite light, everything is the one divine essence, but there's all these different forms and colors and sizes and shapes. Why is that? Why is it like this? Why is there this story? Why is there time and space for us to play?
Yes.
If there was no time and space, we couldn't play with each other. We couldn't play with ourselves, essentially. we couldn't play with the one self,
Right. Well, listen, I think sometimes we forget, why we're here.
Right.
We're here to experience life.
Right.
So when we're not in the moment, when we're not living in the now, that means that we're not experiencing what we're here for. It means our mind has gone off into the future, or it's gone back into the, in the past. And only when we're in the now, only when we're aware, are we experiencing and doing what we came here to do. Like let me go experience this with all of my senses. Like, yeah.
It's all right now. Everything, there's never been anything that hasn't happened right now. It's never not right now.
It's all happening now.
It's never not right now.
The future will be the now when it happens.
The future now, the past now, the yesterday now, the tomorrow now.
Yes.
The now.
Yeah.
How much time do we have left?
I don't know.
I think we're nearing we only have 40 minutes, we were told.
Yes. So, I think we started at 30 minutes ago. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So just to clear up about the hallucinogenics.
Oh.
It's the healing plant medicine. That's just something that is that goes along with it.
Right.
So, yeah, I just I don't want anyone getting the wrong idea about.
Well, why don't you speak about what it's about?
It's about different things for different people. I mean, that just happens to be one thing that happens when you do, ayahuasca
right.
or San Pedro or is, you know, people are called to the medicine, this indigenous medicine that's been practiced for thousands of years, for different reasons. You could be to find your purpose in life, to overcome addictions, to heal post-traumatic stress disorder, to overcome some trauma from your childhood, to heal a broken heart. I mean, people speak to, you know, people that have passed over, like while they're, you know, journeying on the medicine. You can wake up. I've heard of people that actually knew how to play, you know, classical guitar when they woke up. But one thing is always for sure, everyone always wakes up from journeying with a knowing of their connection with a higher, like, understanding of consciousness, and an understanding that everything is connected, because you definitely see that.
Right. That's what I was pointing at. So my sense, when people take ayahuasca journey, which is the DMT is the core element there, that it's opens people up to the unified consciousness, to the collective consciousness. And that's really interesting. Like you said, how someone, what'd you say, they like learn how to play classical music or something? Well,
yes, like, I've heard of somebody that woke up, and then they, like, I don't mean like woke up like they were out, but yes, you do go out sometimes. But yeah, it's amazing what you can tap into when the veil is removed.
Yeah, like, you can understand different languages. I mean, there's because we really are one consciousness. So that kind of like that illusion of a wall or a barrier is temporarily like removed, and you have access to all of it.
That when our pineal gland, you know, is clear, when that's tapped into, and that's when we can see so much more that we can't see normally.
And like, one thing I like to tell people too, because there's people that are so hungry for like a spiritual experience, you know, how do I get it? How do I discover it? How do I define it? And I always like to clarify for people too, that what we were just talking about, there really in truth is only one spiritual experience, and it's this one. This now is all there is. Right?
Yes.
So this is it, everybody. Feel how good it feels right now. It feels so good, doesn't it?
This is it. We've just like figured it all out.
You did it.
It's all about it now.
You're a success. This is it right now.
Yes, it is. Yes,
so why don't you share your website or whatever you have coming up for folks?
Well, the thing I'm most excited about is my shamanic sisterhood women's retreat that's going to be in Costa Rica in June. So I'm very excited about that, and that can be found on IamPassionDriven.com under retreats. And you know, that's really what I'm most excited about: the medicine path, healing, women connecting, the divine feminine rising right now, sisters coming together, people coming together is really what cranks my chain.
Beautiful. How about you? I'm teaching an online course right now called From Anxiety to True Empowerment, which people can still connect with and be a part of. I have 2 books, The Big Glow and The Wow, The Now. This is all can be gathered through my website, thebigglow.com, THEBIGGLOW. Do personal coaching sessions that are available for people with packages for that. And I have a retreat coming up April 1st to April 4th in Asheville with 2 amazing other beings, Gail Allen Hoffman and John Stringer, called the Urban Mystic Retreat. And if you want to connect in person, share time in person with us, then be here for that.
Awesome. I wish you so much luck with those. And you're so amazing, and you're always successful with your retreats and all of your workshops and stuff. You do so much you know, all over in this world. So personally, from me to you, I just want to say that I love you so much, and I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for all the work that you're doing for us, for the collective.
Thank you so much, Keely. Love you so much as well. And we'll see everybody again soon.
Yeah.